Hey guys, it's Steven here. Welcome back to another video. Manchester City won 4-0 yesterday away at Norwich. Another step, hopefully, towards another Premier League title. And today, we're going to take a look at 5 things that I personally learned from this game of football. Of course, it's not the definitive list. You could talk about absolutely loads of things. But as always, these are 5 things that stood out to me personally from yesterday's action. It was a good game. It really was a good game. As good as these 2 prizes. See these lovely things alongside me right here? This is football prizes. And every week they do a whole bunch of draws for incredible competitions. You can pay a couple of quid or a few quid to enter sometimes, to enter for these massive prizes. This one that's ending tomorrow on my left currently is a Vincent Kompany signed, framed Manchester City shirt. Vincent Kompany, the man I named my channel after. There's a signed competition going of his shirt framed and authenticated for just 4 quid. It ends tomorrow. Only 99 tickets available, so your odds of winning are really, really good. And as I'm recording this, only 22 tickets sold. So enter in the link in the description below, and my favourite competition here. For a tenner, £9.95, only 174 tickets available. 2 Tunnel Club tickets to the derby. Now, if you don't know what the Tunnel Club is, it's that incredible experience where you get to watch the players go past you. You get to sit right near the bench and all that kind of stuff. It's absolutely amazing. I've done it once, and honestly, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And at a derby as well, that is going to be celeb spotting, Kevin. I guarantee you. The best seats in the house, heated seats, incredible views. You get to watch the players pass you and all that kind of stuff. It's incredible. You can enter now, and that ends on Tuesday at 7:30. So 174 tickets available for £9.95. You could get experience worth literally over thousands of pounds. It could be worth over £1,000 easily if you win it. So good luck to all the Blues that went to get entering right now, and you could win something pretty special. Either a Vincent Kompany signed shirt or 2 Tunnel Club tickets for the derby. Amazing. So let's talk about 5 things that we learned from this game. Don't forget, by the way, do like this video if you don't mind. Let's get to 1,000 likes, and do hit that subscribe button as well. I want to start initially with the only place you really can start after a game like this. It's just perfect Razman. We have to start with perfect Raheem Sterling. A guy who apparently has been in terrible form this season is now the 3rd highest goal scorer in the Premier League this season. That just shows you the inherent quality of a man that continues to confound his doubters, continues to make us all look a little bit stupid forever questioning his form, basically, in his class. Guardiola, of course, loves Sterling, and rightfully so. I think it is also fair to say that he has been indifferent in form and sometimes poor for the last year and a half. But Sterling has once again found a way to make himself very, very useful, very, very effective. And yesterday was another example of his upturn in form at the moment. The thing is about Sterling is we forget that it's okay every now and then to not be perfect. Sterling plays such a high-risk game, such a high-risk, high-reward game, that occasionally he will frustrate. Occasionally he will find a way to miss simple chances, or maybe fluff a dribble or something like that. But the one thing I love about Sterling is that he's absolutely got no qualms whatsoever about going at his man time and time and time again. He's probably the only player in Manchester City's team that always looks to make something happen every single time he gets on the ball. It may not always come off, but that's because he doesn't really play the easy pass. Sterling goes at people and tries to run at people, and that persistency and that endeavour and that alertness is what makes him so impossibly hard to defend against, and it's what gets him into those positions. People will go, oh, he's just a tapping merchant or whatever. That is kind of disingenuous. For one, he has scored some great goals with the Manchester City shirt, and I've been at the ground when he's done that. He's a wonderful player when he's at his very best. But it's also just, it underplays just how little others manage to do what he does, you know. This idea that a tapping merchant exists just because of a system or whatever. If that's so true, why isn't there other wingers who score 25, 30 goals a season, like Sterling has done, through tap-ins? It just doesn't happen. Sterling makes those chances because he's intelligent. His intelligence, his movement, his understanding of position and awareness is exactly what it needs to be. And I love at the moment that Sterling is finding his best form. Even if you don't think he's our best winger, fair enough, because Mahrez probably is at the moment and all that kind of stuff, and maybe Foden, you want Foden out there, maybe you want Grealish out there, that is absolutely fine. The one thing we all can't deny, that a confident Sterling is absolutely a pain in the arse for opposition defenders, and right now Sterling is very much finding his best form. Likewise, maybe Fernandinho. I put the next comment as fine wine Ferna, a man that seems to get better with age. Okay, maybe he's not fully got to his best, but Fernandinho makes me feel young, thank you. He shares the same age as me, 36 years old, and Fernandinho makes me feel good for being in my mid-30s. Thank you so much, Fernandinho. Once again, A man that was that absolutely answers any potential critics and any potential hesitations. Fernandinho stepped in yesterday and performed with such elegance that it had Jamie Redknapp saying he's the best Premier League defensive midfielder of all time. I mean, it's hard to argue against that. I'm not saying he is because it's so subjective. Some people will say McAtee. Some people will go, what about, Roy Keane or Vieira? They're both more box-to-box midfielders in my opinion. But I guess there is no definitive answer. It depends very much it depends who you rate the highest. And I know that sounds really obvious, but we're not all going to agree on this. Either way, he is one of the best Premier League defensive midfielders of all time. And its longevity is absolutely incredible. To be 36 and still be this good, to be this sharp, to be this alive. I know it was only Norwich, but that is still absolutely immense in such a high-pressing, high-intensity league that Fernandinho can step in and be this good. I absolutely love Fernandinho, and if we're being honest, we are probably facing his last season as a Manchester City player, and you've got to admire that dedication, that ability. Likewise as well, I wanted to basically, I don't know what I put at the bottom here. I might have just put Ake and Zinny or just trust the squad or whatever. But either way, I wanted to talk a little bit about Ake and Zinchenko. And of course, Fernandinho extends to them. They were the three players that came in yesterday. And I saw a lot of City fans, maybe some that probably should know a little bit better, if being honest, losing their heads a little bit because we made some changes. And I felt it was really undeserved. I mean, these players have consistently shown to us, in my opinion, that they are good footballers. Some more than others. Zinchenko in particular was absolutely key to our Champions League final run last season. A man who got us to the Champions League final with his teammates, of course, but he got us there as the first choice left back, and he did. We forget that. And Ake as well is a man who came with a good reputation and has been excellent this season. Okay, he's not been as good maybe as Diaz or whatever, or Laporte or Stones, whatever. Maybe he isn't as good as those players, but he's really good. He's a much better player than we give him credit for. And I think he's been quietly very reliable when he's came into the team this season. Yesterday was absolutely no exception. And Fernandinho, once again, as we've just discussed, absolutely reliable. And these players, at some point, maybe we have to stop doubting them when they go in the team, because invariably they just don't let us down. All these players are settled, all these players know their role, and all these players are fantastic. Absolutely fantastic footballers, fantastic professionals as well. Zinchenko has barely played any football this season, not because he's not good enough, it's just because Cancelo's been absolutely brilliant. And when he does step onto the pitch, he's essentially impeccable. There was about 15 minutes maybe where Fernandinho and Zinchenko made a couple of mistakes, but that was understandable early on because they were still a little bit rusty. But after that, once he settled in, they looked like they'd never ever been out the side. Absolutely immense footballers, and I do love how settled this squad is, and I do love how much Guardiola trusts all these players, and rightfully so. Having said that, as much as he trusts them, he trusts maybe some a little bit more than others, because I think it was obvious yesterday that all eyes were on Lisbon. Not all of them maybe, but quite a few eyes were definitely on Lisbon and Sporting, because we did make a few changes yesterday, and probably understandably so. I think it's fair to say that Guardiola is a little bit apprehensive about his fullback options, given that Kyle Walker is now suspended for 3 games in the Champions League, because Cancelo was out of the team yesterday, and that was because he didn't want a scenario where he didn't have Walker and Cancelo for these games. So Cancelo was sensibly rested, and he also, I think he's probably aware of the importance of Rodri in a game like this. Rodri sat out yesterday as well, probably sensibly once again, and of course no Laporte or Stones in these games. That was clearly an intentional decision, because these are obviously going to be seen as important when we haven't got the defensive reliability of Kyle Walker, a man who gets us out of so many problems. He wants what I guess would deem his strongest back four in the absence of Kyle Walker. I would guess, looking at the players that didn't play yesterday, Rodri comes straight back into the team, and then the back four will probably be Laporte, Stones, Cancelo, and Diaz. Stones probably at right back once again, and it makes an awful lot of sense that Guardiola, even though he does take each game one at a time, did have his eye on the Lisbon game, and he should do, if we're being honest, because Norwich, we did have enough to beat them. It was proven, despite our fears at the lineup and so on. Not my fears personally, but many people's fears. It did prove that we had enough in this squad. And he did prove that he was right to rest a few players, because this game is massive. It's absolutely massive, the Lisbon game. We should have enough to get past them in 2 legs. Of course we should. But we can't take them for granted. And I think it's nice to see that Guardiola isn't. And the final thing I wanted to talk about was just youth, man. Again, it was lovely to see so many young players get on the pitch once we're in a comfortable position. It does feel like, once again, we get to 3 goals, maybe we'll see some academy players. But yesterday, I was not expecting them all to get on. I wasn't. Kayky, McAtee, Delap, all getting chances. And I think we're really seeing Guardiola trusting certain young players now. It always felt like he was a little bit reluctant to put some youngsters on, even when we were a few goals ahead. But all these 3, they all got on the pitch. Now, obviously, a part of that is because he didn't want certain players to play ahead of Lisbon. Like, he thought, let them just rest on the bench. But I think he does trust them. I genuinely believe that McAtee, Delap, and Kayky, I think they're all highly rated. Of course, we know Cole Palmer is pretty much part of the first team squad now. We know he really likes people like Wilson Esbrand and Lavia as well. Dozy maybe would have been around the squad a little bit more if he hadn't been injured this season. But in general, I think honestly, it's really nice to see Guardiola having a little bit of faith in the right circumstances for some of these players. And I think it's testament to the development that some of these youth players have made and the steps that the CFA has made for producing players that fit Guardiola's way. And we are reaching the precipice now of potentially having a few academy players in the team. And that would be wonderful for me. I'm hoping, because of the slightly smaller squad that we've got at the moment, it is a slightly smaller squad. People may be surprised to hear that, but City squad isn't big these days. Obviously, Mendy's not available anymore, rightfully so for what it's worth. Obviously, Ferran Torres has been sold as well. And once you get an injury or two, which is probably going to happen given the amount of games that we play, all of a sudden, you've got 1, 2, 3 academy players on the bench. And when you've got the players of McAtee and Delap and that quality, they will get chances here and there if City are winning games. And I absolutely love to see it. Genuinely a pleasure seeing Delap, McAtee and Kayky get on yesterday for Premier League debuts as well, you know. For McAtee and Kayky. Absolutely wonderful, and long may it continue. Guys, they are 5 things that I learned from this. Don't forget, you can enter those football prizes competitions. Imagine winning a Vincent Kompany signed and framed Manchester City shirt. Oh, legend. I'd love it on the wall right there. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Or you can win 2 ton of club tickets to the Derby. Incredible. Go and enter in the link in the description below. Don't forget to like this video. Big love to my Patreon producer Scott Denemy and everyone else watching this video. You're all absolutely awesome. Like, comment, subscribe. Watch a match reaction from yesterday. I'll catch you tomorrow for another video.